Sound a bit early, but you might want to start checking yourself for ticks after being outside. There are several types of ticks that emerge this time of year, including the Lone Star tick and the black-legged tick. These ticks can carry Lyme disease and alpha-gal syndrome, which leads to a red meat allergy. Local educators say the mild winter and current warm spell might lead to an early increase in activity.
This year is not really a different type of year, but those warmer temperatures and earlier temperatures can create that atmosphere where they're coming out and they're becoming more active.
And of course, there are several steps you can take to protect yourself, including wearing light-colored clothing, putting on repellent, and staying in the middle of the trails.